Welcome back to Scoundrels Inc., another Star Wars podcast. I am Frank Janish, and I'm here along with
Move along.
Brandon, the Hot Man Hannah. There he is. Hello, Brandon. Hello. And Kevin, the technical savant, shock jock Smets.
Look it, dude. I'm just trying to do something cool with the background. You know, it says Scoundrels Inc., but the lighting situation in this room is absolutely horrendous. So I always look like I'm broadcasting from a bunker in some war-torn country.
Yeah, he's live on location, down in the ground in those trenches, getting the live reports.
If I have to leave, we have to go down to the bunker. So bomb shelter.
I wish I could play it. I would play an air raid siren right now if I had the energy to do it.
Well, maybe if you take some effort in the post-production process, you could actually add one yourself.
Brandon, how you doing? How'd you like last week's episodes? Let's do that. Not this past week. The week we didn't talk to you about.
The week we did not. I was the one I was not on for.
Yeah. It
was interesting. It was like snow dune with like a snow worm.
Right, yeah.
What I did like about it was, Hunter and Crosshair kind of like squashing their beef a little bit. The way that bros do. And no blood this time, which was good.
Improvement. It was an improvement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You stole my joke.
It's not your joke. It was in the show, Kevin.
Yeah,
but you stole my reissue of the joke.
I was going to say that's in your script. Isn't that in your script, Kevin?
Yeah. It's in KOTOR. They stole it. It's in my script. Nothing's ever been. I feel like nothing's ever been. That's crazy.
Well, if you're still here watching this video, we are here to talk about Season 3 of The Bad Batch, episodes 6 and 7, Infiltration and the opposite of extraction. I couldn't think of the word. Wow. And we're going to get into that. And then also there's some news about that Rogue Squadron movie, Once Upon a Time we heard about. So we'll get into that at the tail end after we wrap up our thoughts on The Bad Batch. Kevin, I want to ask you about your Super Watch. How's that going?
Good. Very good. Haven't done it. Look, I am full in production. I could prove it, but I'm not sure what's under this screen, so now I'm not going to do it. I don't want to spoil anything. Full in production of Convergence, trying to get this puppy done, hopefully sometime in the late spring, early summer. So haven't had time for that. Also, Child. The show I'm on has been quite long hours and quite challenging this time. Every now and then you get on a show that becomes a little bit more of a challenge. So my free time is likely very minimal these days. So no Super Watch except the Bad Batch, which now I got to start all the way at the beginning before I get back to the Bad Batch next episode. So
we got to start at the beginning. What do you...
Nobody cares about my Super Watch these days.
Oh,
I'm going to have to start over, though. Like, I'm going to have to. It's not going to feel like a Super Watch if all of a sudden I'm watching, But what's funny is, and this is a good segue, is the last episode I was at during my Super Watch was the Clone Wars movie, which featured a planet called Teth.
Hey.
Segue it up.
There you go. And that's what's in this episode. There's your segue. Brandon,
was
what
it?
Yeah. It was, there's also, yeah. I think what's the other? Yeah, but I was thinking there was another mention of another.
I know my 4-letter words of planets: Teth, Hoth,
Tat. Oh,
that's it.
Tato,
Naboo, which was the original planet, twin moon of Naboo.
Right, Naboo and Nab 2.
What did the ghost on in Theed City say to Brandon? Naboo.
Did you see that? Did you say that to Kira earlier today and get a big laugh? No one
thinks I'm funny in this house.
Brandon, what have you been up to, man? We didn't see you last week. We got your brief thoughts on last week's episodes. What's going on in the life and times? You got a little card over there on your mic stand.
Yeah, I'm taking all the weekly allowance you're giving me to put into Scoundrels Inc., and I've just been putting it into my own YouTube channel instead. YouTube.com/Brandon Hannah. I do a little show called Film Physics. There's actually has like a little QR code on it, but I don't know if it'll work or not. But if you guys want to Try to give that puppy a scan.
Wait, hold on, let me try.
Let me know how that works.
Let me.
Okay. Don't get tricked into paying for one of these bad boys. There are websites that will do it for free. Learned that the hard way.
Look at that.
Did it work, Frank?
I didn't. I just fake tried. Sorry.
Okay. That's what we call in show business acting.
Yes, special effects. Yeah. You'll notice Kevin didn't even make an attempt. I at least humored you. So,
because I have already subscribed. I don't know about you.
Actually, no, that's true. I am already subscribed.
Having a QR code would just be weird. It's like bringing sand to the beach.
What? Oh my gosh!
Off to a great start. I want to hear about this. I want you to lead with this Rogue Squadron. I have no idea that there's a new Rogue
you don't
Squadron
know?
here.
Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, I guess let's just talk about it right off top. Why not? Rogue Squadron. It's apparently Rogue Squadron is back in development with Patty Jenkins writing. This is coming from StarWarsNewsNet.com, and it says here, in a stunning turn of events, Patty Jenkins herself is saying that after Wonder Woman 3 was put on ice, she's back developing Rogue Squadron for Lucasfilm. And she was on a podcast called Talking Pictures, where host Ben Mankiewicz asked about the once canned Rogue Squadron, and then this is what she said on the podcast. When I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3, and I started working on that, we talked about, well, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman 3. So we did a deal for that to happen, and they started a deal. But when Wonder Woman 3 then went away, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we got to finish this deal. We finished the deal right as the strike was beginning. So now she says she owes a draft for Star Wars, and then we'll see what happens from there. They have a hard job in front of them of what's the first movie they're going to do, the Rey movie she's talking about. They have other directors who have been working, but I'm now back doing Rogue Squadron. We need to develop, get it where we're both super happy with it. So it looks like she's at least going to write a draft for Rogue Squadron. How do we feel about this news, Brandon?
I think we need to get Patty Jenkins on the show to talk about this in greater depth. So, Patty, I know you're listening. I know you're a big fan. We were all disappointed no Wonder Woman 3, but that's okay. Because now we don't have a Wonder Woman podcast, but we do have a Star Wars podcast. So feel free to come on and chat. I am excited. Hopefully this is the case. I was very disappointed when I found out that it wasn't happening anymore. Lucasfilm, since the Disney acquisition, has kind of had a bad history with.
Is there an alien invasion going on in
Something's
your room?
going on here. That was weird.
What is Are you being invaded by aliens?
No,
down
I think
there?
it was a setting on my computer that was like glitching back and forth, so I turned it off. I don't know. That was weird.
It's Wolf. He's coming to get you too. So yeah, Patty Jenkins, super cool. Hope that this is the case, and Lucasfilm can figure out their director issues and just make movies a little more seamlessly.
You mean make movies? You mean make movies?
Right.
You know that cartoon, Charlie Brown, the Peanuts? And know when Lucy's holding up that football, and every time he goes to kick the ball, she pulls the football away and he falls on his ass? That is Lucasfilm with every freaking Star Wars announcement. I want a Rogue One Top Gun story. How sick would that be? Freaking get Glenn Powell in there. I don't care. Bring them all. Bring freaking Tom Cruise. But I'm not going to get my hopes up because every one of these movies gets canceled or never made. So, okay, sure. You know that GIF of GIF, whatever, of Jennifer Lawrence doing this? Okay. That's my reaction.
Yeah.
That's my reaction to that news. But the genuine article of reaction was when you first mentioned it on the show. It was the first I saw of it because I don't read the show notes. And I had that tinge of excitement. But then as Brandon was talking about it, I was like, well, we're all going to fall flat on our face with this one again anyway. But I hope they don't. I hope they do. I hope they get Star Wars back in the movies. Just like he said, they got to stop lagging on this shit and get some freaking movies out there in the theater. I prefer movies to the TV. I've said it again. I still love the Disney Plus stuff, but the magic of Star Wars is slowly becoming like when Star Trek was on TV all the time. No offense to Star Trek, and it's great on Channel 13 when I grew up. UPN, Star Trek The Next Generation, but you got Star Wars all over TV. Get your butts back in the theaters. Let's sit down in a theater, eat some popcorn, yell at someone for using their cell phone. But damn it, let's get Rogue Squadron in the theaters. I'm excited.
Wow. Yes, hell yes. To all that. Yes. What I'll say is, while this isn't exactly an announcement, the movie is happening. This is just confirmation that Patty Jenkins was signed on to write a draft of a Star Wars movie, i.e. Rogue Squadron. So she has to fulfill that deal. So she's going to write a draft, and then they'll figure out if they're going to go further with development. So I do like the fact that they didn't completely abandon this idea. It seems like, after the Wonder Woman 3 and the DC and Sean Gunn and all that stuff, because I think had that stuff happened for her, apparently Rogue Squadron would have been written, or a draft would have been turned in 5 years from now or something like that. After she was done with Wonder Woman, apparently it sounds like, at least, that's what they were going to end up doing. But now, since that all fell through,
why are they shooting her on an airfield in front of an X-wing, announcing her movie if they weren't going to get to it until 2029?
It's a great point. Well, I think all that happened at different times in terms of she was available to do Rogue Squadron, but then Wonder Woman 3 was going to end up happening, but then it didn't. So anyways, all that to say, at least they're engaging in writing a draft of the script, and then eventually maybe, it doesn't necessarily have to turn into a movie. It probably will, but just think of like a Rogue Squadron
show. No,
like Battlestar Galactica, bro. Could you imagine
2 hours in the theater with booming bass? Get an IMAX version out there.
All I'm saying is, you do your 2-hour movie.
Do you hate
and
fun,
then you
Frank?
do the series?
Frank, you hate
afterwards.
Fun. You hate fun, don't you? You hate fun. Do you hate my child too? You hate the movies, then you hate my child. It's the same thing.
Where did I say hate?
You might have something to say about that.
Where did I say hate?
I hate my cat, Frank.
Well, we're so close to another movie, and you're saying throw it on Disney Plus again. No. By the way, Battlestar Galactica, great show. Great soundtrack.
Yeah. Wouldn't you love to see Rogue Squadron like that, though?
Yeah, Cheers is a great show, too, but I don't need a sitcom on Star Wars. I want them Star Wars back in the theaters. Cheers is a great sitcom.
You keep using like all these great comparisons. And you're like, I don't want Star Wars to be great.
What are you up to, Norm? My ideal weight if I was 12 feet tall. Come on!
Okay. All right. Well, that's the small little news that we had on Rogue Squadron that broke. I guess. This was.
Brandon, what say you? You want it on the theaters or on a TV screen?
Oh, theaters.
Well, for TV for you, it would be on the iPhone on the 405. But
yeah, that the way that Patty Jenkins intends all of us to see it. I think.
I'm just saying. While it sounds like it's supposed to, the script will be written for a movie, you never know what they might do and just say, hey, let's make a series out of this. I'm just saying the idea is at least being worked on at Lucasfilm. I don't know if it's it'll probably be a movie.
You get a TV show. You get a TV show. We all get TV shows.
Well, except for what's her name? she doesn't get one.
Who?
She got fired. Gina Carano.
Yeah.
They got rid of that. Okay, let's move on to this week's Bad Batch episodes. Episodes 6 and 7, Infiltration, Extraction, and I think this was a pretty good back-to-back pair of episodes in terms of a lot of action in here, and we got more information at least the build-up and setup of actually liberating Tantus, the clones on Tantus and all that, and finding where it's at. And they go through all this information with Omega and Crosshair. I thought that was all just really interesting stuff. Probably the most interesting parts of the episode, at least for me. Kevin, what did you take away as your most interesting parts
I'm
of these
doubling down
episodes?
on my theory. I think Crosshair now is for sure going to die at some point.
Oh,
I
man,
think
he
the
almost did it.
last scene's going to be Wrecker putting the doll on the grave of
Oh my
Omega.
gosh.
And where are all these clones when they have the great Jaws episode of Rebels when it's Gregor, Wolf, and Rex? Man, I'm telling you, all of these clones are headed
Wolf's
for
there.
a disastrous end. Well, yeah, Wolf, Gregor, and Rex. Where is everybody else during Rebels?
You mean?
Where are the
That's
other
what you're saying.
clones?
Yeah.
I think we're in for a real. It's going to be where are all the clones, right? Aside from that one that was in the Obi-Wan show, I'm really worried for the fate of all of these clones. But I think that they're all going to rise up. I mean, how epic will that be when they all start realizing how disposable they are? And that was my favorite scene of the entire series so far. Is when Crosshair explains to the other guy, "Look, I thought I was just disposable," and then the other guy is like, "Yeah, we felt the same." Like that was great when he was explaining that. And maybe not the whole series, but that was a powerful scene.
Yeah.
Both episodes great. Infiltration, Extraction. They both sound like 1990s PC games, first-person shooters. I loved the you're just as bad as Hunter. No, I'm worse. I just love the interplay with Crosshair and Omega. Man, maybe you can't kill them both, but one of them ain't making it out of that finale.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I talk about it and I get goosebumps sometimes, or like I get emotionally invested where like I'll feel a tear welling up, and not like sitting here saying I'm crying or anything like that. I've cried during movies. I'm an emotional guy. But when I didn't recognize, I was kind of, to be honest, working and half paying attention. So I didn't realize that we're dealing with Wolf.
Yeah.
With the armor. So when he took the helmet off and then it was revealed, for me, that's when I found out that was Wolf. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I got so engrossed when he was like, saying, like he had thought of Rex, and I think of the Frank cut because that's what everybody thinks happened to Rex, right? Going down with that ship, and just when he lets them go, I felt the tears welling up. Like I was like that's crazy because like I'm not knocking animation, but like sometimes it's funny that we sit here and talk 2 hours and wax poetic about a cartoon, basically, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, my KOTOR stuff gets real intense, and that's based on a video game footage. So it's like, you never know what medium's going to get delivered to you. But that out of the blue, while I'm working, looking up at I have a monitor up here above it, my edit station. When that part hit, like it hit me like a ton of bricks. And then I realized like how they're all going to come together. I think they're all going to eventually like come together. But yeah, so real powerful scene when they were letting him go. And then my only other thing about both episodes combined, because you're asking overalls, is I saw a freaking screen grab that someone did for clickbait, and it was from the trailer of Asajj Ventress. So, and it was like Easter eggs or whatever, and I was like, wait. So the whole time, for some reason, I wasn't putting. I didn't realize that the Winter Soldier clone is basically a Winter Soldier clone, because I was again half paying attention, because again I had 2 episodes I had to work. I thought the whole time it was going to eventually get like it was Asajj, like hidden under there.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So like my whole
Interesting
dynamic of that episode was kind of ruined just because of a stupid clickbaity thing where it had like the stormtrooper, it had the clone guy, and then like a circle with Asajj and the point. It's like F you with your clickbait bullshit.
Right.
And I didn't mean to see it. I wasn't looking for spoilers. It just showed up.
Right.
And so it just kind of changed the dynamic. So when Wolf was arguing with him, I thought like Asajj was trying to get to them to help them. Like I watched it in such a weird lens.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because of this stupid in my head, I was like, but then I realized
because you're expecting Asajj to somehow pop up.
Yeah. And because I thought I got spoiled, right?
Yeah.
And then, when he's like, "Oh, you could have been one of us," then it finally knocked me out. Okay, that's not going to be Asajj. And then because I had missed the line in that first episode where he says, "Why did you bring me out of hibernation?" or whatever that line is. But so overall, I had just an interesting experience.
Me?
Yeah, so I had an interesting experience because out of this necessity, I wanted to get these episodes watched. That I wasn't fully paying attention up top. That it skewed my viewing for the latter part of the show.
Sure.
But it did preserve the Wolf surprise for me, because if I would have seen the markings on Wolf's arms or the shoulder pad, if I would have really paid attention to that,
well, I didn't even get that. I didn't get that until he.
Oh yeah, that's him. He has that shoulder pad with the wolf.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so maybe it was a surprise for a lot of people if they weren't a super nerd like me, where would recognize the armor. But yeah, fantastic. Both episodes, just you get that nerves. And the last thing I'll say is the soundtrack was very like almost Blade Runner or like Terminator. They really did create that. I'll just call it the Winter Cloner, but the Winter Soldier character just hunting them. They really created that as like a threat. And I just like the music. It reminded me of like the kind of the digital type music that they had in the original Terminator and something you would hear it in Blade Runner. So fantastic. What say you guys?
Yeah, Brandon, what did you take away from both of these episodes?
Yeah, I think for me, like, I like noticed it was like wolf right away from the armor, but like I was like wasn't sure if that was his name, even though there is like a wolf on his. But I was like, I know he's an important clone. I just can't. And then they said it, and I was like, okay, should have trusted my gut. But yeah, I was surprised to see him and so many other clones. I know there was like some stormtroopers mixed in with them, but
That was cool.
like yeah, but like I was surprised to see them still like going on missions for the Empire when like at this point, like maybe I should have done a rewatch of season 2, but I feel like it was like already like kind of like public knowledge that the clones are all just kind of like tossed to the wayside and treated like crap. That's why like there's senators like trying to like fight for their freedoms and stuff. But I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. But and then the fact that they sent these non-brainwashed clones on such an important mission to fight other clones felt like a really stupid thing for the Empire to do.
No, I think
like,
they're brainwashed.
I don't think so. I
No,
think
because like after the show, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any details, and they talk about how Greg or Wolf has his chip in, and later at some point before Rebels finally gets his chip pulled out, so he has the chip still in there.
Oh, so
Rex has his chip gone because he'll have the scar. Rex got the chip gone.
That's right. But because that's why so many
they're all
clones are still following those orders. Yeah.
So they're still under that guy, like that whatever trance. You know, but I think self-preservation and worried about your brothers would kind of supersede that at some point, right? Well, I guess not, because we saw what was going on with the others, but yeah, I know what you're saying though, Brandon, but I believe
like
that they all have the chip still, the inhibitor.
Yeah, because like they have like the like Winter Soldiered ones that are like super brainwashed, and then like they just have the inhibitor chips. So like for me, like the Empire's already seen that even with the inhibitor chips, these clones can like still be compromised. So it seemed like they should have sent in like either like a bunch of like Winter Soldiers or like stormtroopers that would just like blindly follow the orders and
when
don't
you
care
hear
if they kill
when you
a
hear the
clone.
stormtrooper voices, though, it's so funny because they just sound like podunk guy from like middle of Arkansas compared to like the awesome, the D. Bradley Baker,
right.
Yeah, but
you
I
have
think
these
they did
like,
a good job.
yes sir, I'm a stormtrooper.
Yeah, but I think they did a good job of like not only that, but like they did sound like they would sound if you heard them like talking in the original trilogy, like that like old like 1970s like middle America accent specifically. So
back when the Americans were good guys and British voices were bad guys.
Right. It must be another drill. This episode I liked. It was a lot of action, I guess you could say. And it was like fun. It was like really I think really well laid out and intriguing the way they did the action. I think sometimes when you get like these animated shows and they have like big like action pieces, because I always imagine like what if that was like live action? That'd be crazy. But because it's animated, it's like, oh, you just take it for what it is on screen. But and so then you kind of get like the action sequences just become kind of like filler-ish stuff. It's just like, oh, they're just going through this and it's that to get to this other point. It's how I've kind of felt about past battles in Star Wars and like animation. It looks cool, but you don't feel like the gravity of it because it's animated as opposed to like live action. When you see, an actual explosion and whatnot versus an animated explosion, you just, at least for me, there's just a different feeling. But I say all of that to say that the animation has gotten so good now at this stage in the game that I'm like in awe of how good it looks and just kind of the scope that they're able to capture. So I'm just every week I just gush over the animation of the show because it's so damn good. I hope they do another show with this style
They're going to do another show that takes place in between Bad Batch and Rebels. We're going to really further explore this unexplored space. Yeah,
they should just do an all like political animated show. Just imagine the West Wing, but animated. Just do that.
Come up with the address. I feel like the books had the address of the Senate, and that would be the name of it. Like
there you
1600
go. Galactic Way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing is with this episode, though, I thought it was interesting with just Crosshair and everyone else, having to accept him back or needing to trust him and getting information from him that they feel that he's holding back from, which I think can lead into he does know more than he's letting on, but he's not letting on only because it's like a traumatic experience, because he talks about how they put him through this, was a ghost soldier program, whatever, shadow soldiers, this program to convert him into whatever it does. And then he cites the fact that he's defective, so their methods wouldn't work because it works on non-defective clones, and he's a defective clone, so why would it work? And also explains, just kind of his traumatization while on Tantus, and maybe it's preventing him from recalling key information that would help, Rex and company at this point. So I still think there's probably, as much as this has been like a Crosshair Omega season, I think there's still a lot more they're going to do with Crosshair in terms of like going through trauma that he's endured while under Imperial imprisonment, and probably how that relates to Omega, because Kevin, you were talking about earlier how he's just like he just checks in on her now and is like making sure she's all right. They did kind of like before they went out from the ship, he's asking for, she had like the crossbow and stuff, all that stuff. So like he's really like turned a page, and it's really kind of odd to hear. I don't know if you guys remember that scene, and I just remember feeling like this is a really odd thing for Crosshair, just because we've never seen him like this, and he's had such a dramatic transformation. It's really just, you're talking about it last week, Evan. He's just the best part about the show at this point. Brandon, I don't know what you have thoughts on, your overall thoughts on Crosshair.
Yes, I am the best part of this show.
Why does he have to sound Crosshair? He sounds like when he's older, he'll be the old guy from Family Guy.
His voice just completely goes the opposite. Yeah,
it just keeps going.
Yes, I'm older now. Big fan, favorite character in the show. Loved his back and forth with Omega, like you mentioned, him saying that he was worse than Hunter. And how that led to the other clones being more trustworthy of him and better understanding him, and him almost dying, which was crazy. And then
I was like, are they really gonna drown this dude? And like, I'm like, wait a minute, he looks drowned to me.
I'm like, I was about to be mad. I'm like, are you kidding?
They do it just like this? Like, that's savage. Yeah, 100% same thoughts.
Yeah. So yeah, love his character arc. And another thing, I thought you guys might find this like funny based on like past conversations on this show about like M count versus saying midi-chlorian, and they had that whole conversation about like, oh, what's M count mean? We're like, we don't know. We gotta find out what M count means. I used to know what it meant, but I can't say it anymore.
Right. I think I read it somewhere on. Yeah.
They'll say it. They'll say it by the end of the year.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, they gotta say it. Come on, give us it. Get to the
How confident fans. Are you? How confident are you on a scale from like 1 to 100? How confident are you that they'll say midi-chlorian?
I am 89% confident.
Okay. That's pretty. I mean, you might as well.
They got it, especially now when they're like, in order to save her, you must find out everything. Why? I also I saw this like when I saw a video where they were talking about they flash back to a scene, not in the show, but in this review, they flash back to a scene of Omega telling Crosshair, "I know what you're gonna do. Please don't do it," from season 1 or whatever. And
yeah.
it further makes me think that she's force sensitive. She's like Leia force sensitive. You know what I mean? Like she's like not learning how to use a lightsaber or anything, and she's like Anakin when he was a kid, you know, doing pod racing where only humans could do it. I think she's definitely force sensitive. So I think they're going to be like, yeah, she has a high M count, dude. She has her midichlorians are off the chart, over 20,000. I mean, it won't be 20,000. That's Yoda levels. It'll be more like 1,700. I feel like she's a 1,700, 1,800. You know what I mean? Okay. But I mean, look, if you're going to give the bounty hunter, or if you're going to give, oh my God, I'm blanking out. The Ahsoka character, the Force, she's learning it. What? Sabine. Sabine, my friend. I love Sabine.
Yes, everyone has
her the Force. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we're going to discover that Omega is Force sensitive, and that's why she could see things before they happen and stuff like that. And I do believe that they got to say midichlorians. So I'm going to say 89%. What are you going to say, Brandon? What's the percentage?
70%.
Okay, I'm going. Frank? I'm going 20%. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to say it.
You don't like fun, bro. You
that's
don't
not
want
what
movies.
That's not. You don't want
Star Wars.
I wish they would say.
You don't want the word midichlorians to be said on the show.
We said this last week. I hope they say midichlorian on the show. I do, but I don't think they're going to do it. That's not me not wanting fun.
You got to read The Secret. If you really will it, it'll happen. I mean, I think a lot of people in discourse, they're talking about it, and I don't think they would shoot a pickup scene or reanimate a scene, but it might be something really easy where they can just be like, hey, D. Bradley, will you repeat this line, but instead of saying M count, saying midichlorians. That's it. Because, it's not like the quick turnaround of like South Park where they do an episode based on, news happenings the prior week, but they will have access to, here's a exclusive from KOTOR Convergence. I needed a bartender. I added a line where a bartender tells the character, yeah, you've had one too many, bub. And I was like, who am I going to get to do that? Kaiser. So I just texted Kaiser. I'm like, Kaiser, of course he's going to be in the KOTOR movie. Yeah. But that was not in the original cut of the version, but I was able to just plug it in. And I know that it's totally different, but like it's off camera. The lips aren't seen, whatever they can do. Like they could throw midichlorians in there. And that is an exclusive. Kaiser starring in the new KOTOR movie.
As the voice?
As a bartender. I think we'll be able, it's early enough. It's animatic stage. But again, like I could plug
so he can still get cut, is what you're saying. He can still get cut.
Yeah, I'm going to cut it. I'm casting him just to cut him. Well, I feel bad because I haven't given you guys voice parts.
No, you haven't.
I was working on the scene after work today, just before we started recording. Just like got like 20 minutes in, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll ask one of the guys. But then I realized like, no, I got to ask Kaiser because it's like a bartender. Like, haven't you had enough, pal? You could just hear him say that.
Oh, yeah. So, I hear.
One of these days you'll be in my movie. But I mean, in order to be in my movie.
You have to let us watch your movie, Kevin. You don't let us watch it.
April 6th, guy. April 6th.
Some wings.
That's
6. Right. April 6th, wings and KOTOR.
Great.
I bet they should have a scene with Crosshair where he's just like,
Nala say, I heard Omega talking about midichlorians, and I was just wondering, what are midichlorians?
Oh my god!
How do you nail these voices? I feel bad. How do you not voice every character in my movie?
Yeah, what the hell? He's like Kevin. He's here not every week. He's here whenever he's here. When he's here, he's always doing voices.
I have like Frank Welker here. Yeah,
and you're just like,
I did.
Who could I asked the bartender. I don't know.
I asked maybe bartenders. Maybe I'd love to get his Gungan in there. Maybe I'll ask the guys. Literally after we record, if we can get a Gungan in the bar scene to
get a gaggle of Gungans. That's what a group of Gungans is called, right? A gaggle of Gungans.
Gaggle of Gungans,
right?
Sounds like a porno that was distributed in the under city.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Gaggle of Gungans.
Yeah, like a gaggle of geese. Like,
all right, relax, you and your geese.
My geese, right?
Yeah, Frank talks about geese at least 3 times a week.
At least 3 times. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, look, not much really to dive into more with Bad Batch. I mean, let's
dive into a gaggle of guns.
That's enough. Okay. But I think
that's the interesting thing. It was 2 episodes.
Oh, there was I'm sorry. There's one other thing. 2 other things I wanted to mention, but the main one was. That one shadow trooper, clone trooper that survived, that nearly killed Crosshair and survived the waterfalls and like
Asajj Ventress, yeah.
That's
That's what happens, kids, when you don't pay attention to while you're working.
You thought that was Asajj Ventress the whole time. Didn't even
The
think.
whole
Didn't
first
even
time,
think. Oh, that
until
might
the
be
fight with
Rex, or
Crosshair.
that might be
I
Tech.
thought, look, the stupid freaking Easter egg video or whatever had a picture of her with the red circle around it, and her hair was all messy. And I'm like, oh, that's going to happen after this little water fight.
Oh, right.
Stupid. I know.
That's funny.
I keep wanting it to be Tech, but now I'm questioning that.
Ooh.
After Crosshair said that it doesn't like work on defective clones.
Right, exactly.
So,
yeah.
That's
Tech's
a great
dead, man.
that's a great call, because I didn't think about that until you just said it right now. Damn it, Brandon, that's true.
Maybe Tech isn't that defective. Or maybe like when he fell, he had like a bump on the head and it fixed his defects.
And he had a new metal arm.
Yeah.
But so I guess it's not Tech then, which is great news, but also not like
people were thinking that, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking she's a Jedi. How stupid. I'm like, why does she just use her save? Pay attention, kids. That's what happens when they pile 2 together.
Yeah, well,
2 episodes. Day of. Did you watch it at midnight, Frank?
No, I watched them earlier today.
I do notice you're in California now. Or
I've always been in California.
The whole time, but you're in Southern California.
I'm in
again.
Southern
Welcome
California now. Yes, I am back from the Bay Area, and it's good to be home. Good to be back in my room, in my surroundings, and I have all my setup and everything, which is nice. But now we get back to, at least for us over here, recording when we normally record instead of varying hours throughout the days.
You're talking about your room, and I was thinking about the scene in The Phantom Menace where he's showing 3PO
Padme,
and we see, what does it not bother anyone else that they didn't add like the POV? You see the POV of 3PO, when he's leaving and packing up. You've been a great pal. How do we not see like the HUD and all the graphics?
Oh, like what he sees.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the POV.
I mean,
what do you think, Brandon?
It's like,
when is this?
In episode 1.
Are you not paying attention, Brandon?
Like
in episode 1. Wait,
when
you're saying there's a POV shot
Anakin
of C-3PO?
brings Padme into his room to show her 3PO.
But that's not. But when he's leaving, though, when he's like, "You've been a great pal."
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you later. It's a high angle, looking down, following him, because it's the view.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's a POV. POV.
I don't
shot.
remember this.
He's like, "You've been a great pal."
Yeah, and it's like you're 3PO looking down at him.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it is.
Wait, how have I never thought this was weird before?
I mean, I don't know if it's weird,
19 years,
but it's an angle that you never see in Star Wars, that's for sure.
Yeah, name another time in Star Wars you get like a POV shot.
I can name one.
Okay, which one?
Okay, well the Vader helmet coming.
The Vader helmet, yeah.
Oh, well,
and anytime they're looking, listen, Robin. I love it. I like Howard Stern.
Robin don't know Star Wars. Come on.
Anytime anyone looking through a binocular, dude, that's their look.
Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever.
The defense rests.
Good.
I yield my time.
Overruled.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I guess it's not gonna be Tech that's in that suit. I wonder what's so special about this clone. I mean, I don't know. He's kind of like they remind me of like the Jason Bourne agents, like Treadstone, where like they activate each agent. That's what that one trooper said, Dark Trooper, Shadow Trooper, whatever.
Why did this is because I was again trying to balance it with work. Why did Crosshair immediately say we need to go, we need to get out of here when he saw the trooper that they got caught?
Because the Empire tracks them because they know that where they're at. So he knew that they're gonna be swamped with people at any second. I think
bringing them right into that monastery. Cool, by the way, same architecture from the Clone Wars movie. Look, the monastery. Those are the monk monasteries on Teth.
Very
from
cool.
Clone Wars movie.
I wanted to say the ship that the Shadow Trooper had, whatever, is badass. I love that ship design, like that triangle-looking Star Destroyer-looking design. That ship was cool as hell. I want that ship, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Got it.
Ship. The speeder.
I used to
Your
have that
thoughts
memorized.
dwell on your
I
mother.
do not miss the Schmodown when I had shit like that memorized. Ship, a cup, a speeder, and a ship again, right? And your winner. I don't know.
The one other thing that I was gonna bring up that I trying to remember, but I can't now.
While you're trying to bring that up, is anybody going to see Empire Strikes Back on the top of the Empire State Building?
Oh man, yeah, I saw that. That'd be
Don't
cool.
think so.
But that's not gonna happen.
Pretty cool, huh?
That'd be pretty cool.
And that sad news with Jake Lloyd too.
Yeah.
In a home or whatever for psychiatric home.
Yeah. It's
losing his sister. I had no idea. That's got to be rough.
Yeah. So it's been.
I'm just trying to kill. I'm trying to kill dead air with you trying to remember your point.
I can't even think of it. I can't even.
I really pull for that guy and a young kid. I just know from my experience as a child actor, when people caught on in school that I was a kid actor, no one was ever really super nice about it. And I wasn't in the largest movie ever of all time at that point. So I can't even imagine the crap that kid was given, probably called Darth Vader all the time, and kids walking by doing lightsaber sounds. And it didn't even go away in college. Like it always followed him. So
it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, referencing an article, you could find it online where his mom gives an update on his health and stuff like that. But hopefully he's on the road to recovery on that one.
It's lifelong battles, that he has to endure, that he has endured. So just hope he, gets the help that he needs and gets better, because it would be great to get him back into the Star Wars community the way it happened for Ahmed Best.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That would be great if we could get even just a little bit of that.
And he loves Star Wars still. The article had a picture of him holding up an Ahsoka toy with his
mom. I saw that. So yeah.
He's still into it. I would have distanced myself as far away as possible. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I wanted to bring that up. Sorry I didn't add to the doc. You know me, I always add to the doc before our show.
Right.
But
yeah. So I think that's gonna wrap it up here. If anyone has any
jawline with this lighting, dude.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we definitely gotta get out of here now. Before
look at this jawline. Are you gonna cut to a full shot of this when you're editing it, Frank? Yeah.
Okay. Are you finished?
Am I not amusing you?
If you want to go look in the mirror for the next 35 minutes.
I've been looking in the mirror. This whole thing, I have my face right up on the screen here,
and it's still not enough. You still can't get enough.
Not enough.
Okay. Well, you know what? If you want to get enough, you could subscribe to our podcast feed. Is that a good segue? I don't know. Or our social media, the app formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. While we still have it in this country, Threads.
Yeah. Funny enough, I do my first KOTOR clips upload in like over a year.
And we're on the verge of banning the app.
I'm gonna upload this clip of Calo Nord from my KOTOR movie, and then literally as I minimized it, the next thing was an article on CNN talking about how TikTok might be banned. I'm like, great, right on board of that ban. Someone better be coming up with an alternative. You could be a trillionaire. Just come up with a alternative.
There you go.
Call it Threads. Call it Threads, right, Brandon?
Yeah. Make sure you check out Film Physics with Brandon over there. He does a lot of cool physics, Hollywood. What was you did the Titanic one. You did Mean Girls, Bus, Regina George thing, getting hit by the car. What was the car? Yeah. He's got a lot of good stuff over there.
Yeah.
Did you do Ferris Bueller's Day Off yet?
No, not yet.
Were you gonna do one?
I can't think of anything physics related off the top of my head.
Can you make the car reverse mileage when you put the car in reverse?
That's not a physics thing. No. That's an engineering thing.
You have a very short video. The answer is just no. You can't.
Well, actually, no, you can. But you have to crack open.
Didn't work in the movie, right?
No. What they try to do was put the wheels in reverse. Yeah, they were actually still adding miles to the car.
Yeah.
What they had to do was go in, what she says in the movie, you have to go in and crack the odometer and turn it back manually, which he does say in the movie. So that's how you would actually do that.
How is that not a more common thing? Well, back then anyway.
It was. Like, you could easily crack into odometers, Now you can't because all of ours are digital, basically. So,
there
you go. So now we're a Ferris Bueller podcast.
Yeah. And I'm doing King Kong and Godzilla next.
Oh,
later this month.
Oh, I got a good one. Is this physics? Return of the King. How long would the ring really take to start dissolving in the lava? Is that a physics one?
Interesting.
I think I don't know if you've heard of Kyle Hill. He did a video on that where he actually took a metal ring and threw it in lava, and it turns out it does not melt because of thermodynamic heat transfer. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
lava
but was it
cools off
lava
around the
on
ring
Mount Doom?
before.
Was it
before
lava
the
on
heat
Mount
can
Doom?
permeate through it. It's pretty cool. You should go check that video out. I wish I thought of it.
Dang.
I'm trying to give you
Glad I
ideas,
did
dude.
not.
Just trying to
Kevin,
help.
where were you about 2 years ago with that idea?
But here's the thing: that my argument to that is the fires on Mount Doom are not the same as the fires on like Mount Kilauea.
Brandon, can I say? I thought you were about to say, Kevin, where were you on January 6th? And I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Jeez. Where was
the record
Kevin?
state I was nowhere on January 6th, but home.
Kevin, where were you during Order 66?
Right. Why I was
good soldier. Dude, let me hear your Crosshair say, "Good soldiers follow orders."
Good soldiers follow orders.
Well, we have Crosshair on the show, and we're going to get down to his time spent on Tantus. We should do a spoof interview with Brandon as Crosshair and just be like
Howard Stern interviewing.
Yeah, there you go, Kevin.
All I do is this the whole time, just move it around,
just making
put my foot. You can't see it, but my knees up right here.
Okay, like
Where's my knee? There it is. Okay. Cover up like that. Howard always likes the angle like this on Howard TV. Anyways, now we're just rambling. It's been a good episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow, just like he said, the TikTok before I took you off a tangent.
Yeah, that's how we got. That's how we went meandering, was because TikTok's being banned in this country. Incredible.
Is it for sure going to be?
No,
banned?
it's not for sure, but it's getting pretty close.
It's like half of me just kind of laughs, like, or not. I feel bad for people that are going to lose food off their plate if that's their livelihood. But for all of like the douchebag influencers and stuff like that, like,
Well, then they'll just go over to Instagram. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. We've gone on long enough here. We will be back next week with another review, breakdown, conversation about The Bad Batch Season 3 episode. That'll be episode 8. We'll be halfway through the season next week. So how about that? All right. I'm Frank. That was Kevin. That was Brandon. We will see you all here next week back on Scoundrels, Inc. See ya.
Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.